It's time to get your quick fix with the remix. I'm Remixes, and I hope y'all are having a fantastic day. Battlefield 2042 is a game I'm sure everyone's familiar with at this point, if at least for the memery. While it's been a massive disappointment, the devs have worked incredibly hard to try and bring this game to a playable state, dealing with very low player counts and I'm sure a low size of team. I've seen a lot of positive videos from Level Cap and Jack Frags, and I'm glad they're having fun. I wish I was having the same level of fun, but I wanted to make this video to highlight my issues with the game. Now first, I haven't had much time to play video games, but I started playing 2042 again as the latest season dropped, and I can say there's a lot of improvements to bring it to a functional level, compared to when it first launched. I dare say this is actually a Battlefield game. However, it still falls short with how bad it is, even after compared to Battlefield 4's launch. And at least with that game, I mostly suffered from disconnect and server issues. I went back to see some articles and movies from 2014 and how EA had addressed Battlefield 4's unacceptable launch. They said they learned from their mistakes, that is, the game being rushed, so it hopefully shouldn't happen again. Yet here we are after Battlefield 1 and 5, and I would argue this is probably the lowest point for the series. I honestly find myself enjoying playing a 10-year-old game far better than the new one. And I didn't play Battlefield 1 or 5, so I don't want to comment on the success or failure of that launch. But here it is, in no particular order, my short list of things that I like, and after I'll talk about the things I really hate with this game. So first off, let's start with the positive. One of my favorite things is the Weapons Plus system. The system is quite similar to a backpack style we have in arena shooters and single players like Fallout, but I enjoy not having to worry about my inventory space, or if this scope will actually work for whatever gun I'm working with. Next, I enjoy the grappling lines. It's not a bad idea to allow McKay to use a grappling hook to get to wherever he wants to go, but having these grappling lines function as a fixed assault point instead of climbing a very slow ladder was a much needed addition for older games. The improved maps have come a long way. I still have a lot of issues with how open some of them are, but the fact we have more cover, shorter lines of sight, and new maps being fun to play has made coming back to the game quite a bit easier. The feel of the weapons. I'll get into sound later, but the sounds of Battlefield weapons have always had a good kick. The weapons sound distinct, and they feel very heavy without having too much bulk, like in something such as Gears of War. I don't enjoy feeling like a walking tank all the time. The weapons handle pretty well and feel similar to previous titles. Nearing the end, we have the customization. Some of it is pretty cool and the cosmetics can be interesting, but the cash shop is kind of a pain. Though I haven't bought anything in it, so I won't really comment on how good or bad it is, you can still earn things through season progression, and some of the things you can earn look really cool. Finally, the graphics. They really have come a long way over the years, and this game's graphics are no exception. I wouldn't say they're amazing, but they are pretty good. Alright, now let's kind of transition over to what I don't like, and this will be a much longer list. I'll try not to rant for too long about any one topic, but please forgive me if I do a little. I wish we had better ways to unlock customized kits. Kind of like a random drop at an attachment, or being able to use certs from PlanetSide to buy a couple attachments you want. It would be nice if I could buy one attachment with an in-game, earnable, non-purchasable currency, so when I pick up a new weapon, I could buy a single attachment. You can still keep some good attachments behind unlock progression, but to start with iron sights on some of these weapons introduces an unneeded penalty to upgrading a new weapon. Maybe I want the 8x, but I can only buy a 4x, or maybe I want a larger mag, but I can only buy a medium mag. Next, one thing that irks me the most about this game is the spatial audio. The audio in this game is absolute trash. I know I like the sounds of the weapons and explosions, but the bass is turned up extremely high. Also, for reference, I'm using Audio-Technica 8700X headphones. These headphones are made for positional accuracy. Guys, I've tried all the audio settings that I possibly can, and I cannot for the life of me tell me where people are running to or from. I can hear them, but it just sounds like they're literally all around me when they're running in a building. This is one of the only games I've played that the audio is this bad. PlanetSide 2, a game over 10 years old, has better spatial audio than this. Even previous battle titles had better audio. I'd love to be corrected on this, but if it's my fault, I honestly don't know why. Again, anytime somebody is running, it sounds like they are coming from all over, even if it's only one person. Moving on, all chat does not exist. I'm not allowed to chat across enemy lines. Perhaps I want to call out a legitimate hacker, or ask someone a question. Sometimes I like to congratulate a person on a really good kill, as it happens occasionally. I have no way to communicate with the opposing team. Remix, why are you trying to converse with the enemy? Are you a traitor? Because it's a video game, you rube. Vehicle spam. I'm sure my vehicle mains will get angered, but you really need to start playing infantry once in a while. This is kind of a two-parter. The first is the very high number of vehicles, which is further compounded by their killing potential and insane armor they have. All the vehicles are faster in this game, and most vehicles cannot be damaged by small arms fire unless you have AP rounds equipped, which, by the way, you have to level up with kills because why not? Most vehicles will let you equip a wide array of tools and weapons, so you rarely get ambushed by C4 or C5. And while the number of equipment slots remains the same, the number of seats has increased, which allows a tank crew to compensate for any previous weakness it has. For instance, being able to equip a tow missile in the gunner seat and anti-infantry weapons in the pod. Light armor vehicles like jeeps can be shot through windows, but you can't damage them with rifles in spite of the large killing potential they offer by being both fast and having a fast-firing coax LMG or Vulcan cannon. The same can be said about the hover aircraft. Meanwhile, actual LAVs like the Cav, the Wildcat, and the C-Ram are basically medium armor killing machines. They come with enough seats and countermeasures to deal with any infantry force they deal with. Vehicles rarely get disabled as they're damaged and they repair fast enough that they can escape most situations. It takes 3 to 4 rockets to kill one, and they cannot be damaged by heavier firing weapons like a coax LMG. Also, an indication of what weapons will actually damage tanks would be nice when you go to equip the weapons. Damage to light armor, damage to medium armor, damage to heavy armor. Simply saying light armored vehicles is very ambiguous. While we're on vehicles, aircraft need to be a one-hit kill with non-guided rockets, and 2-hit kills with guided. Lock-ons should be 3. They have made some recent nerfs, but it's still not enough for aircraft. All vehicles, regardless of type, should have a sort of risk versus reward, and there's very little here. Each vehicle takes a decent amount of damage, so they can just escape pretty easily. I played in a match with a good driver and was able to get 30 kills from my first time as a gunner in a Wildcat on exposure. I'm not a vehicle main. I try to be helpful, but this was insane. I'd love to show you, but there isn't really a good stats page for it. With as much as we hated it, I kinda wish we had the battle log, the web browser UI that was introduced in Battlefield 4. That allowed us to change our kits and find servers, because there's still no server browser. One thing I need to correct. There is a browser in Portal, but there isn't one for the regular game. And there's still no battle log, so it really doesn't matter. Portal seemed like it might have been amazing, and if you coupled this with a server browser, we would have some truly impressive games that would form a more functioning community for years to come. Nope. No server browser. Can't continue the game in the server you're in. But worse than not having a server browser, you can't even join a squad. How am I supposed to play with friends if they're already playing? Go wait in the lobby? All my squad members in a match ended up leaving at one point, and I was the last one in the squad. I can't leave my squad to join another, so I'm screwed playing entirely on my own, or quitting. Thanks guys, you really know how to foster a community. That takes me to my next point. Even if you do have a squad up, there's no direction for a team-based game. Squad leaders don't really do anything, and I don't usually notice that I'm a squad leader. More so, is there a point to being a squad, other than spawn points? We have no squad objectives. It's the same objective as the other team members I have. I can't even call them teammates because I can't build a gaming relationship with them. Plus, the scoring system is still really bad, as actual contribution is rarely rewarded. Kills and assists are important, but kills on points should be rewarded more and show on the leaderboard. Show your squad's team score that is calculated on the scoreboard. Having a numerical scoreboard that included things like spawns, spots, heals, it shows how much of a team player you are trying to contribute to the success of the team. Kills should always be rewarded highest, with objectives taking a very close second. But you also need to foster a reason for us to play as a team. While we're talking about players supporting each other, let medics do their job. People really shouldn't be able to cancel out of a death for 3 to 4 seconds. Give the medics time to do their job if there's a medic within a certain range. Sometimes those people die in a bad area. Make that player feel the pain of running out into the open field where they thought they might get a 5 kill streak and instead tasted dirt. They need consequences for their actions. Alright, we're getting down to the last few items. I'm glad they got rid of terrible voice lines, but now the music is extremely annoying and dull. Everything is depressing with this music. I dare anyone to name a single track from this game without looking it up. And I'll know you cheated because there isn't a rememberable track other than that horrible sounding jingle. I think the time to kill may have also been reduced in this game, but I can't verify that. It's pretty rare that a person has time to react to a couple of accurate shots, and I think it's because the rate of fire is higher, and the damage output is higher while the player's health pool seems smaller. I could be wrong, so feel free to correct me with a battle nonsense type video. Damn, I miss this Battlefield content. Another thing, accuracy at range for close quarter combat weapons and some tanks like the Wildcat seems much too high. I'm not sure if this is a FOV thing or the lines of sight were just cut down in previous titles, but tanks being extremely accurate from 300 meters away seems a bit excessive, especially when I can't just use a couple rockets to stop them. And for some reason the targets seem smaller than they did in previous titles. I normally play at a 70 FOV, so not sure what's going on here. Also, the loading screens are super annoying. Having a cutscene at the beginning of the match forcing me to stop messing with my kit is very irritating, especially when I don't have a battle log that I can use to make those changes. And probably the number one thing that makes me angry about this game is the bad spawn system. I can't tell you how many times I've died to bad spawns. Sometimes the game will spawn you right in front of the enemy in an open field. Other times it gives you the drop on the enemy, but you're surrounded, and so you can only get 1 or 2 kills. Other times it drops you right on the point, and other times it puts you directly over the point but on top of a skyscraper. The spawns that annoy me the most are the ones where you've checked your corners, got great positioning, and then a person is able to get behind you or from the side where there's no reason for an enemy to be there other than the spawn system. The system should spawn you near friendlies, yet somewhat closer to the point than what it tends to do. For instance, if my team is attacking from the west and the enemy is on the east, I should not be spawned in the east. I should be spawned in a sort of Pac-Man area to the west where my team is. I know this can create opportunities when a team is being camped or pinned down, but we really don't have any maps that match Locker or Metro, so it's not really a problem to deal with. And that's more of a problem of bad map design, which is why Metro had additional lanes opened to provide alternate attacking options. Alright gamers, that was a long list. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for checking out the video. I hope it's been informative and interesting. I really don't like making rant videos, but this will probably be one of the few Battlefield 2042 videos, unless I see some drastic changes to the game. I still may jump in from time to time, but this game really won't be able to hold my attention for very long. As it stands, I only have about 40 to 50 hours in this game, and I don't see myself getting anywhere near 100. For reference, I have 500 hours in Battlefield 3 and 200 hours in Battlefield 4. And while that might not seem like a lot to some of you guys, I'll have you know that I did put in 1800 hours or 76 days on my main character for PlanetSide 2. I'd really like to have a Battlefield game that I can enjoy that much. I used to eat up all the Battlefield content I could. Jack Frags, Level Cap, Chawboy and Ozzy, Doom 49, Frankie 1080, and Battlefield Friends. EA really needs to start dedicating the time, manning, and resources to Battlefield in order to give the devs the ability to make the tools that will help foster a community for its gamers. If it doesn't, eventually people just won't play anymore, and we'll shut the door on another property lost to corporate greed. I wish DICE the best of luck in trying to turn this game around, even though I have very little hope for it. Anyways guys, that about wraps it up. If you enjoyed the video, leave me a like and comment. I really appreciate the feedback. And if you enjoy what I'm doing, keep subscribed for more gaming and snowboarding videos. As always, keep it real and keep it on Remix.